going to go in there. I'm going to outbox Jack. I'm not going to shoot one takedown. And I'm going to show him the meaning of Canelo hands. I'm going to show the UFC fighters, the fans, that I'm the best boxer in the UFC, the best boxer in the welterweight division.
I think 2025, Belal's going down. Yeah, with his left hand.
It's an easy fight for him. JDM shouldn't even got past Burns. You know, he got a lucky fluke knockout, so it's an easy fight for him. He's still a bum, and no one cares about that fight, so no one's going to be watching. So I feel bad for the fans.
This is big, big news. Belal Muhammad is going to be very excited for this one. He's going to look at what Gilbert Burns was able to do and feel that he can replicate it because he's younger, he hasn't got as many miles on the clock and all that type of stuff. Of course, Belal is a cardio machine, but if he keeps it on the feet, it's going to be a problem.
Leon Edwards mocks Belal Muhammad as the featherweight champion and wants him to retire. Belal Muhammad is set to fight Jack Della Maddalena in the main event of UFC 315 on May 11th, where he will be defending his welterweight belt for the first time. Leon's words have made headlines, but right now, Belal is focused on only his title defense fight.
One of the most powerful forces in life is consistency. Being able to do something in repetition over and over and over again. That's how you start.
Belal Muhammad is highly confident about beating Jack Della Maddalena. He thinks everyone underestimates him, but they forget how he destroyed a guy like Leon Edwards. Belal also predicted to smash Maddalena at UFC 315, using his skills and experience as he has learned striking from Ignacio Balmundas and Yaya Rodriguez, who are supposed to be among the best strikers in the UFC.
What do you think is the most dangerous thing about JDM, and what do you need to worry about?
I mean, if I'm being honest with you, I'm better everywhere. People were going to say, and they're going to ready to come out like, oh, he got hands. But I think they just underestimate my hands and my striking, and I just went against the best striker in the UFC, and Leon Edwards, so-called. I train with the best striker in the UFC, Ignacio Balmundas. I train with Yaya Rodriguez. Both these guys, if you've seen them spar, you guys seen it, they're a different level.
Belal Muhammad further explained the major weakness of Jack Della Maddalena. He believes Jack lacks the experience of big fights. According to Belal, Jack is a good fighter, but he has never handled the pressure of big fights, and this is a huge drawback for Jack.
So when I have a guy that's basic, and Jack, who's just boxing, right? He has really good hands, he has good power, but he breaks a lot of these guys down because he hasn't fought anybody like me. His biggest weakness is his experience. He's never been in a big fight like that. He hasn't had a pressure fight yet. He hasn't fought a pressure fighter yet. So for me, I think I'm going to go in there and I'm going to walk through him like I thought I was going to do to everybody else, and I've done everybody else.
However, Jack doesn't agree with Belal as he backs his striking with his power and control. Jack is confident that he will prove who is the big dog at UFC 315. He also rejected Belal's claim that he had never faced a big fighter and backed himself to show his real power on 10th May.
He's fought some good strikers, but do you think your power is like the X factor here that maybe he hasn't dealt with some of these other guys?
Yeah, I think I've got more precision, accuracy, power, the whole lot. I think I've got more dog in me. I think he hasn't fought someone like me. I've fought people like him my whole career. He's never fought someone like me.
During a recent podcast with Joe Rogan, Belal Muhammad further explained his fighting style that helps him to take down tough opponents. Belal believes people underestimate him, but he has always proved them wrong with his remarkable performances against the greats of his division. He praised his training team for his outstanding performances inside the octagon.
Your boxing was so on point, man. It would look better than it's ever looked.
People just underestimate me when they look at me because they say, oh, he doesn't have a bunch of knockouts. But when you look at my fights and you see the way I pieced up a lot of these big names like Gilbert and Sean Brady, I beat them both on the feet. And for the Leon fight, my gym is small, but I work with, I think, who's the best striker in the UFC right now, Ignacio Balmundas. Like, this kid is a monster. He probably has like...
Monster.
You saw, yeah, his spinning heel kick knockout. I'm
Dangerous,
I'm sparring with this dude every single day. So I'm like, nothing that Leon was going to throw at me was going to surprise me.
Meanwhile, the news that captured everyone's interest is the Leon Edwards statement. The former welterweight champion Leon Edwards doesn't like to see Belal Muhammad holding the welterweight belt. He is annoyed by Belal Muhammad and wants the current champion to retire. The English fighter has openly admitted that he would be happy to see Belal retire as soon as possible.
When you see him with the belt now, what do you feel?
Every time I see him on Twitter, I have say like, why? Because he said to me, if he lost, he would have retired. I was like, oh mate, I wish this guy fucking retired because he's annoying. You know, what I mean? Just like it doesn't look right on him, the belt. You know what I mean? It just look like, oh, Well, like I said, it is what it is. It is what it is.
Leon Edwards was the former welterweight champion, but he lost his belt against Belal Muhammad at UFC 304. The English fighter was out-grappled by Belal, and he suffered a decision defeat in Manchester. Edwards will now be fighting against Sean Brady in the main event of UFC London this Saturday. He would aim to bounce back from his welterweight title loss. The British-Jamaican fighter decided a change was needed after that loss, and that's why he has hired a new coach. Edwards told Uncrowned on Monday, "As far as coaching goes, it's the same team, but I brought on a new coach, a grappling coach. He is in sync very well. The way he breaks down grappling in fights, I feel like this is very beneficial moving forward." Leon Edwards further added that he knew that there was no point in changing up everything. The former welterweight champion believed the issue wasn't the team really, and he has to back his skills to regain his title. Edwards explained, "It had been almost 10 years since I lost with my team, so I'm not gonna suddenly change everything up and throw everyone away and get a new team because that's not the case. I'm confident now in myself, confident in my team, what we're preparing, what we're doing." Leon Edwards is also looking to get a rematch with Belal Muhammad, and the champ has given his thoughts about that. Belal feels he completely outclassed Edwards in their first encounter, and he doesn't see him as a big challenge. Belal said if they fight again, the result won't be difficult, and he will easily beat him.
I've seen the Leon supporters be like, why not give our man a rematch here? Would you have been off-put if that was the direction they went?
Bro, I literally beat him up for 5 rounds. Like the people even saying that. For me, it doesn't really matter, right? Because I'm better than him. I'm better than all these guys. So I felt like I would have walked through him again.
Speaking about this fight, the welterweight fighter Colby Covington also gave his verdict. He called Belal a bum and backed him to easily win this fight. According to Colby, Jack Maddalena won't be a difficult opponent for Belal, and the UFC should have picked a big name to make this fight more interesting.
I want to know what you think about Belal getting that short replacement with JDM in Montreal. That fight's coming up. What do you think about it, the matchmaking, and who do you think wins that one?
It's an easy fight for him. JDM shouldn't even got past Burns. You know, he got a lucky fluke knockout, so it's an easy fight for him. He's still a bum, and no one cares about that fight, so no one's going to be watching. So I feel bad for the fans. They're getting robbed of a good fight.
Leon Edwards' coach Dave Lovell also reflects on his thoughts about Edwards' defeat and how they are focused on forgetting it. Lovell raised concerns about the start time of the fight and pointed it as a big reason for Edwards' defeat. Lovell said on the Ariel Helwani show, "It's a bitter pill to swallow, but I take nothing from Belal. He won his way to this time like Leon did, so let him make the most of it. Fair play to him. But it's a bitter pill for me to swallow for the simple fact how Leon lost it, the lackluster effort for whatever reason. Because we all know that was, what, 30, 35, 40% of Leon Edwards that night." Dave Lovell also mentioned the injury of Edward that restricted him at UFC 304. Lovell was not taking that injury as an excuse, but it definitely made a huge impact on his performance. So now Edwards is set to fight Sean Brady in the main event of UFC London, and Dave Lovell knows that it's time to move on from UFC 304 and focus on this fight. Lovell added, "There were some major factors leading up to the fight. Forget the minor injury apart. In England, when have you ever heard of a sportsman performing at 6 o'clock in the morning? It's never been heard of before, and no doubt you'll never hear of it again. It was just a freaky moment in time, and Leon had to deal with it. To lose to Belal in the fashion he lost to him, the world knows he's a lot better than that. We know. Most and foremost, he knows he's better than that." Lovell motivates Edwards to regain his form and start his journey to win the belt again. Dave Lovell: "Yeah, it was a major setback, but we're on the road back to gold. What more can I say to that?" So if Edwards wins at UFC London, we might see him fighting for the belt again soon, but right now, the current champ Belal Muhammad is focused on his upcoming title defense against Jack Della Maddalena. It will be his first title defense fight that will take place on the 10th of May. Della Maddalena was originally scheduled to fight Leon Edwards, but was rebooked to challenge Belal Muhammad because the number one contender Shavkat Rakhmonov was unavailable due to an injury. Belal Muhammad admitted that his training got a big hit due to Shavkat's injury. Belal was preparing for Shavkat and was in a training camp to practice for that fight. However, after Jack Maddalena was announced as his new opponent, Belal had to make changes in his training and prepare a completely new strategy for Jack.
You thought it was going to be Shavkat still. Did you really know? Like, I know sometimes you guys got to play coy with us, but at that point, like last month, did you still think it was going to be Shavkat?
Yeah, no, I thought it was gonna be Shavkat. That's what we were training for, and that's like the hard part, right? Because I had a camp for him, and I was going 6 weeks, and then I got hurt, and then I'm like, all right, well, he just beat Ian, so it's gonna be him again. But then they called, and they said it's not gonna be him, and I was just like, they're like, it's not gonna be Shavkat. Then we were like, well, Kyrgyzstan, Jamaican, Australian. I was like, I don't really care, bro. Just give me a name and a date, and I'll be ready for it.
Belal also believes that the UFC made the right decision to pick Jack Della Maddalena as his new opponent because he deserved that. According to Belal, Maddalena was the best choice to fight for the title because of his recent performances and winning streaks. Belal also admits that he was ready to fight anyone in their division.
Was there any talk of anyone else, or did you feel like they made the right call here?
I think they made the right call. When you're looking at the landscape of the division, he has the longest winning streak, and he came off a big win against Gilbert Burns. And when I'm looking at everybody else, like Usman's on a losing streak, Buckley had a good streak going, but I just think that JDM's probably a little bit ahead of him with the level of opponent that he just fought. But like I said, for me as a champion, you got to take on anybody. You want to fight anybody. I'm going to fight the best. So I figured he would be the next in line if he beat Leon. So we just shortcutted it and we got it first.
On the other hand, Jack Della Maddalena knows that he is among the youngest fighters right now in the UFC, and it would be great if he became a champion as well. Jack is currently concentrating on beating Belal and getting that welterweight belt around his waist. Jack revealed that after beating Belal, he would defend his belt and try to create his own legacy so that he would be remembered as one of the GOATs of this division.
Like, if you win, you'll be the youngest of the current UFC champions unless we get some title changes between now and then. You look at the welterweight rankings, definitely one of the younger guys. Do you feel like this is going to be a true indicator? I know Belal just became champ, but he is an older guy of like a changing of the guard.
I think it's a changing of the guard. There's a lot of new guys coming through, and I look forward to get that belt, changing the guard, and then defending against the next breed and solidifying myself as the best guy in this generation and the best welterweight ever.
Jack further revealed that after becoming the champion, the first challenger he would want to get is Shavkat Rakhmonov. Shavkat is the #1 ranked contender for the belt, but due to an injury, he is unavailable for a few weeks.
Do you think Shavkat's next?
I think if Shavkat's healthy, I think that's the fight to make next.
Furthermore, Belal Muhammad shared his strategy to beat Jack Della Maddalena at UFC 315. Belal thinks he is a much better fighter than Jack and will prove it in their upcoming clash. Belal predicts to avoid knocking out Jack instead of just taking him down and proving to everyone that he is the best welterweight fighter in the world.
Tell us how the Jack fight's gonna go.
I'm gonna outbox Jack. I'm not gonna shoot one takedown, and I'm gonna show him the meaning of Canelo hands. I'm gonna show the UFC fighters, the fans, that I'm the best boxer in the UFC, the best boxer in the welterweight division. Trust me, you guys want to tune in, don't miss it.
25 minutes later, and unanimous decision, Belal Muhammad.
The welterweight champion doesn't see Jack as a huge threat to his belt. He has a belief in his skills and experience that will help him to overcome this challenge. According to Belal, Jack has never faced someone like him, so this is going to be a difficult bout, and Belal is looking to break the winning streak of his challenger.
Your next fight, I mean, Jack, what are you thinking about with this fight?
I think stylistically, I'm better than him everywhere. He's just never been in a fight with anybody like me. But the thing with him is he's a really good boxer. He's got a long winning streak right now. I think he's on a 12-fight winning streak.
Maddalena also warned the current champion that he is going to take the belt from him at UFC 315. He even claimed that he would knock out Belal in the initial rounds of their fight.
I think 2025, Belal is going down. Yeah, with his left hand. Love to fight someone that's in front of me, either Shavkat Rakhmonov, Colby Covington, or Kamaru Usman.
If you face Belal Muhammad, what round you're knocking the fuck out?
Yeah, I think I'd put him down, pretty early on.
Done in one?
Done in one. no doubt.
Meanwhile, Dave Lovell was expecting that after Shavkat's injury, Leon Edwards would be called to get a rematch against Belal. However, things didn't go their way, but he is confident to get that fight soon. Lovell said, "It's like he's just held the title, he's lost it, and maybe it's going to be a bit unusual for him to get the call to fight back for the title straight away. It's very rare you hear that happen." Lovell further added that he believes Jack Della Maddalena can beat Belal Muhammad at UFC 315. According to him, Belal has a big threat in the form of Maddalena, who can take his belt away. "Because I know he can beat Belal, he knows he can beat Belal, I think Belal knows he can beat him." Belal caught Leon on a very, very low night, and he came out the winner, and that's the way it is. There's nothing you can say or do about that. The MMA guru also shared his thoughts about this fight between Belal and Maddalena. He explained why he thinks Maddalena will destroy the current champion at UFC 315. According to the popular YouTuber, Maddalena is an excellent fighter, and he can beat Belal in his first ever title defense fight.
The thing is, what it's going to be is it's going to be 4 minutes of Belal and 1 minute of JDM. 4 minutes of Belal, 1 minute of JDM. Or 2 minutes of Belal, 30 seconds of JDM. 2 minutes of Belal, 30 seconds of JDM. But in those 30 seconds, JDM can put that fucking bitch on skates. That's what I think.
This is it from today's video, and hopefully you have liked these updates. We would also love to hear from you guys about your predictions for the upcoming Belal versus Maddalena fight. Share your thoughts in the comments section and subscribe to our channel for more interesting content.